My name is Kayla Sportsman, and I'm in the class EDTP 2301, and I am going to be doing a reading presentation on the book The Smartest Kids in the World and How They Got That Way by Amanda Ripley. We'll first start off by giving a summary of Chapter 4 from the book. In this chapter, it follows around two students, and the first student I'm going to talk about is Tom. Tom is a foreign exchange student from Poland, originally from Pennsylvania, who attempts to solve a math problem in front of his Polish peers. In America, math scores are consistently lower than other developed countries, and Tom is a product of that. Tom was used to using calculators back in America, whereas his Polish classmates had tricks that became second nature. Tom didn't realize math could be more than just numbers, but it could be philosophical and musical, two things Tom really enjoyed that could help him solve math that was not given to him in America. The second student the chapter focuses on is Eric from Minnesota, who is an exchange student in Korea. In Korea, math is taught as a language, and they take a different discipline approach that helps students find math interesting rather than just boring equations. Minnesota specifically struggles with math, but it had tried to overcome that with Common Core state standards that did very little. In Korea, children learn harder math at a younger age to help the concepts in their long-term memory and are given higher expectations. In America, math is usually associated with words hard and boring, so the US places somewhat of a ceiling of sorts that lowers mathematical expectations. To help see a visual from the chapter, here is a graph of countries that struggle the most with math. As you can see, America has won this competition. Or shall I say loses. It ranks top when it comes to the countries that struggle most with math as compared to Poland and Korea, who are much farther down on the list. Next, I want to argue this important factor that was presented in the book. Teacher achievement, not just student achievement rates, should be improved in America, as well as the expectation of teachers in their moral role in society. A famous quote from a Korean educator says, "The quality of an education system cannot exceed the quality of its teachers." This means if you want good education, you must look first at teachers. For example, in Korea, there is teacher evaluations to give teacher feedback and hold the teachers accountable. Under this system, teachers are evaluated in part by their own students and their parents who fill out online surveys, as well as other teachers, and take an approach meant to approximate the 360-degree review that is used in many businesses. The teachers assumed performance was a product of hard work, which also boosts student expectations by increasing the teachers' expectations. However, in America, teacher unions fight this idea. They believe that these evaluations are degrading and unfair. They think that teachers will not want to work as hard because they are being evaluated on pen and paper, and it may discourage them instead of help them. The next piece of information I want to look at is how to become a teacher varies in higher performing countries. In Finland, teacher training is extensive and prestigious, including passing a rigorous standardized test. These teacher training colleges are as selective as Georgetown University or Berkeley in the US, to the point where it was stated a Finnish teacher has received the highest level of education in the world. In America, however, the standardized tests are relatively easy, and virtually anyone will get accepted into a teacher path at their school. The stigma in America is that education students have it easy, and it creates less respect for the profession overall. Going back to Finland, Finland celebrates its teachers when they are able to pass the rigorous courses to the point that they light off fireworks in anticipation for a new teacher. With that being said, is there a correlation between teacher salary and test scores? As you can see on the graphs, it seems as though Northern European and East Asian countries seem to have higher teacher pay as well as test scores. Some countries pay their teachers equal to what doctors would get paid here in the US. Part of this comes from the rigorous teacher training I discussed earlier, as larger salaries can help find better educated teachers and retrain them over time for a foundation of professionalism and prestige. Because teachers entered the classroom with rigorous training and a solid education, they were less likely than American teachers to quit in frustration. This model of preparation and stability made it possible to give teachers larger class sizes and pay them decently, since turnover costs were much lower than in other countries. Finally, I want to discuss teachers helping teachers. In Finland, to reflect, teachers help watch each other in training and give and receive feedback to help improve their own lessons. In America, teachers are more secluded and do not have adequate planning time and time for collaboration needed to support each other that could greatly help increase the morale of teachers. Those facts I shared, I believe the reason why the United States is not seeing the student scores they desire is because the teachers in our education system aren't desired. Teachers can simply not pour through an empty cup, so I believe that through better teacher achievement, such as communication, training, and higher salary, student achievement will also be greatly improved as well. One of my personal experiences that related to the content of the book was low standards. Whenever I had to take the STAR test in elementary school, we were simply never taught the right equations because they were always in the front cover of our STAR test book. Therefore, these equations did not stay in my long term memory, and even to this day, I struggle with some mathematical concepts. This has impacted my thinking of education because I want to give my students engaging lessons that they can take with them throughout their career as students, and I want them to think critically and think individually for themselves. The responsibility of individuals and society on education is society must help support teachers with supplies and resources, as well as listen to their concerns with respect. People should also be aware of community schools that include student scores and achievement so that everyone may have a say in their education. Thank you for listening to my presentation. I hope that you now have something to reflect about our education system.